up against NS HoSeo, brought to you by Colin Wolf.
The map is Icarus. It's the stage that Marine King has chosen. Speaking of him, to the bottom right in the red, it is the King of Marines himself. He is
Marine King Prime.
Marine King originally called himself a Boxer. Then when Slayer's Boxer came into StarCraft 2, he was called Foxer for quite some time as a fake Boxer. Now he is the Marine King, and he is up against a very dangerous animal. To the top left of the map in blue, for NS HoSeo, we have
NS HoSeo Mad Bull.
You get a team that's cornered. They've been all killed twice, and the Bull gets angry, and all he sees is red. And you know what? Marine King has spawned as red.
Moo.
Yeah.
Marine King, 19 years old, a very accomplished Terran player that we have on the server. Legend is starting to use his paint skills a little bit.
Legend, stop that. Thank you.
We know that's Nexus name. Thanks for highlighting, but we know.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see that GameHeart had some additional features that we have not even really touched or gone into yet, and that's always going to, of course, improve and change over time. This is a custom map that anyone can use. Now, remember, Prime was the champions of that Season 1 for 2012 in Las Vegas. They won against StarTale, parting very memorable game. What?
You gotta be kidding me.
I don't even know how he was able to make that Photoshop so fast. I guess that's from the preseason.
That is not the preseason. That's a racetrack where he's lying on.
I think that's Photoshop, man. There's no way.
I hope that's Photoshop, because if that's not Photoshop, that means that the guy is doing this for years now.
But that's so funny.
This is just getting awkward.
Well, by the way, this is Icarus, so both players are going to go for the fast expand. There's no reason not to. And it's a really long rush distance, but for those of you guys who are a little bit newer to Icarus, the expansion at the back has 2 gold patches and a rich Vespene geyser, so you can get a lot more out of that expansion than you would normally. So players normally go for that Nexus first, Command Center first, Hatch first, what have you, and then hit some sort of timing attack because the third base is so far away and very difficult to hold. It's not just about being far away, but because your opponent has so much resources, so much faster than they normally would, their attacks can be stronger, so to try to take a third base is an extreme risk on this map.
Yep. I'm just fascinated with this performance of Mad Bull today. It really blows my mind. We've been harping on this a little bit, but he really, when we saw him first in the scene, he looked a little bit like he's one who talks big but can't really back it up. But now he's been practicing so much on ladder, as we stated already earlier, and he is up against a very strong team. And Protoss versus Terran looks... His PvT just looks amazing. I mean, taking down Maru and Bjal back to back. Bjan, why do I start killing Bjal the entire time?
I don't know. That is an LGIM and former Fnatic player on a different team.
Yeah, exactly, and also a different race.
Yeah, very different race. He is a star. Marine King, that is. And so is Bjorn. But looks like Marine King is going to transition probably into a very fast medevac push. The fact that he's only making 2 barracks here, with the tech lab going down, he will start Stim. And after Stim, probably get that factory so he can get the medevacs out as soon as possible. And he's just going to start pushing aggressively across the map. Remember, he has that 1 gas, but it's a rich geyser, so he saves some minerals on this and still gets a little bit more gas. It's like a rich geyser is like a gas and a half. It's 6 Vespene per trip.
Marine King with the early stim here, and also, oh, I love that Mad Bull is changing his style. He's going into a Stargate here. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, and this lends itself to probably a Void Ray push with multiple gateways. But you know what's really weird to me is that Mad Bull didn't take his geyser at the back base. He took the gases in his main base instead, which, you know, still works out. It's not like he's made a bad choice, but it's an interesting one.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what exactly he's going to do. He could go for the Void Rays, as you said. We could also see an Oracle, which is still something that's very, very strong, especially when unexpected. You can send that over to your opponent's mineral line and take down a lot of the harvesters. Of course, what does really well against Oracles are Widow Mines, but we don't really have anything in the main base of Marine King that could produce Widow Mines just yet, and there's the Oracle.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Mad Bull plays the opposite of how I expect every time I see him, and
that's a cool thing, you know? He played so late game oriented in the last 2 games, and he knows that Marine King was watching those matches, and now he's completely switching his style.
Yeah, switching his style up completely, going into a harassment build to try to affect any sort of timing that Marine King wants to hit. We do have the factory going down, so he starts Stim and +1. The similar timing we've seen against Zerg that Hack has used. I think that SCV is trapped. That's unfortunate.
Wolf, that Oracle is gonna do so much damage. He's getting in the second one now, and Marine King has the engineering base, so he can start with a missile turret as soon as he sees it, but he will lose a lot of harvesters with this.
Yeah, unfortunately for Mad Boy, he's going to the wrong mineral line. This is the one that has the Marines close by. The other one is completely exposed, but here we go. Pulls the SVs instantly, not even getting 2, only gets 1. Really nice reaction by Marine King.
I feel that could have been done much better by Mad Bull.
Yeah.
He waited too long. He showed the Oracle and moved into the base, and Marine King, as you said, he was ready. He saw it on the minimap, jumped into the main base and pulled all the SCVs. If he would have executed this a little bit faster and not waited until the Oracle was floating in the middle of the mineral line, I feel he could have taken down a lot more SCVs.
I would have liked to see him just fly by over the Marines and go into the natural and see if he can get any of those SCVs. But here comes the second one. Right as the missile turret is finishing, he needs to be very careful to only eats 1 shot and gets away.
Yeah, he's trying to get into the main base again, and now he's going to take down a few harvesters. This is a lot better. Now we're talking.
Yeah, he weakened several of the harvesters earlier, but Stim is done.
Stim is done, but still, the Oracle is getting away.
Yeah, not even losing any hit points on that.
And behind this, Mad Bull was chrono boosting his economy for a long time now. You can really see the difference in harvesters. 36 to 50. Of course, in this situation with both players being on 2 bases, you expect the Protoss player to be ahead in workers because the Terran has to build has to upgrade his command center to an orbital. During this time, he can't produce any SCVs, while the Protoss player even has chrono boost to make the harvester production a little bit faster. But still, the discrepancy here in harvester count is quite significant.
Yeah, very, very big difference here, and a little bit of an interesting boost here by Marine King that may have been unintentional. Revelation being used. This actually allows him to know at any given time where those Marines are. Didn't hit the medevac, which is kind of important, but Marine King now knows any push out he moves with is going to be spotted, and Mad Bull's going to know exactly which direction he approaches from. I really like that ability. That's a very underused spell in StarCraft 2 right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. He needs to be a bit more careful with those ones with the Stalker that he has in the main base, but here come those 2 Oracles. Can they really find a blind spot and take out few harvesters? It doesn't look like it. He needs the Oracles also to help defend.
Yeah, this is not going to be a push that Marine King can, do easily. He's going to have to break up that ramp. Another Revelation being used on this army.
That was a perfect Revelation here.
He's going to be able to force field this out, and Marine King will have to either destroy the rocks, which will take quite some time, or back off. Oh, he can't lose the Mothership Core. I can't believe he lost that. That's so critical in his defense here.
He was buying some time, but this is really a big problem. The Marines are now heading to the top left. Pylons are being built everywhere to have something, and now we have the first Colossus, and this changes everything.
Perfect force fields there, a good pickup by Marine King, but still, that was extremely well done, and he's buying more and more time for the upgrades finish. He already has +1 armor, he's waiting for that range.
He's waiting for the range, as you already said. We have both of them on 1-1 upgrades, but now suddenly the Bull is charging in. He's in full pursuit.
But there's another group of Marine King's forces coming for the flank.
But they are immediately intercepted by the rest of the Zealots. We have still 1 Colossus going strong here, and Mad Bull is playing this really well, doing a great job here, but he has to be careful with the Colossus.
Yeah, the Colossus doing a ton of damage here. As long as he can save it, he should be fine. And Marine King gets cleaned up.
Marine King gets completely taken out here. Mad Bull playing such an amazing Protoss versus Terran. This is really where his strength lies, and now he suddenly has pylons everywhere that he can use as forward weapons.
Yeah, he really needs to actually make this attack work, because Marine King he traded really well there. Yes, he didn't actually end the game, but he has 2-2 on the way. He has a 3rd command center, all things that Mad Bull doesn't have. He doesn't even have a Twilight Council to get +2-2. He actually needs to end the game now, and he's going to go for the attack. He has those forward weapons available. He has 1-1. Yeah. He's got another Colossus that will join in.
The momentum shifted completely here. From Marine King trying to push forward, it's now Mad Bull who is trying to call the shots here. Those Oracles not doing too much, but we have double Colossus and not a single Viking. This is exactly the push that we predicted in game number 1, but it's in game 3 against Marine King where Mad Bull is trying to hit the timing.
Good force field going down. The SCVs are repairing a bunker that's empty, and the Colossi doing so much damage to the range. Like you said, not a single Viking. Now it pops out, but it's too late.
The Vikings are finally there, immediately being focused by the Stalkers, and Mad Bull doing a ton of damage. Marine King down 20 supply, trying to stutter step his way forward to take down those Colossi.
Excellent micro by Mad Bull, saves the Colossi, takes out a medevac, and Marine King is on the ropes. He's down 30 supply.
He's down 30 supply already, and we have more and more units just streaming across the map. Another Colossus already on its way, and Mad Bull looking so strong today.
Mad Bull digs further in the ground with his hooves. He's getting ready for the final charge. Marine King looks desperate here.
Marine King in a position where he is trying to wait for his +2/+2 that will give him an edge over his opponent in the upgrades. But just look of how much firepower we have for the bull.
But the Colossi bugging out a little bit here, attacking the barracks. Needs to focus down on those Marauders. He needs to target. Now he does, but it's a bit late, and the Marauders did a decent amount of damage.
Not a lot of gateway units protecting those Colossi. He needs to be careful. The first Colossus is already dead. The second one is being sniped, and now suddenly we have Marine King still down in supply, but in a position where he might be able to hold this off a little bit longer.
I think Marine King, if he gets just a few more seconds, he's basically already done it. He has Widow Mines in place now, he has Hellbats, and he's about to have 2-2 as well. Mad Bull needs to end the game with this attack. I'm not sure if he has enough firepower, though.
He has more Stalkers now coming across the map. Nice dodge on those Widow Mines. Only a few Zealots go down here, but this is the rest of Marine King's army. Those Marines don't do anything. Can the Marauders really force this back?
So low on hit points, all those bio units. This is so close. Cavalry's actually going to push back the medevacs. Hellbats come in, doing some great AoE damage here.
And Marine King might just have done it. Suddenly the supply is dead even here. 66 against 70. Marine King pushing in. His +2/+2 is done. He now has the lead in upgrades.
He's done it. He's held it. He's going to push Mad Bull back. And Marine King now in a great position. He has 3 command centers. He has production. He has the better upgrades. All he has to do is hold the last wave here. All his Widow Mines are ready.
Oh, Marine King with a supply advantage now. It looks like Mad Bull is running out of steam. He's doing a great job here overall, but in this game, the Terran player takes a huge lead. Still being on 2 bases with a 3rd command center and a massive upgrade lead in the match.
Mad Bull with a desperate Twilight Council. That's the Twilight Council that you make when you're like, I hope I did enough damage here to where I can actually try a transition, but he's way behind in upgrades. I feel like part of the problem for him is 3 of his Colossi were shooting at a barracks for 4 or 5 of their beams, and that's going to cause you a problem. That's your main core unit that's not actually fighting against the Marauders and Marines. And then Marine King gets his 2-2 finished. He has enough medevacs. He pushes it back, and I just don't see any way for Mad Bull to recover here. It's going to take a miracle.
It was so close, though. It was such a clutch engagement, and you could really see that Mad Bull was in a huge lead. He had more supply, he had the better army, and he was really trying to break through the defense of Marine King. But a few small mistakes shifted the entire momentum in favor of Marine King, and the Terran player takes it. He's now in a position where he can dominate this game.
A little bit weird, Marine King chased that Zealot with his entire army. It's not going to actually impact the game, since by the time the Protoss army got there, he's already got his stuff back, but he just needs to hold this last push from Mad Bull. Got the Widow Mine out at front. He needs to make sure his Vikings connect correctly because the Colossus is here.
The Medivac's doing a good job. The Vikings being sniped. The Colossus is still active, but here comes another stim, and the Colossus is already down. The Terran player is chasing down the Protoss army, and this is it.
GG. And the reign of the Mad Bull is over. Marine King takes the win.
Yep, Marine King tames the bull and takes the first point onto the scoreboard of the Prime team.
Marine King getting the high fives. And this is, I mean, that was such a razor-thin hold. That was so close. If Mad Bull had migrated his Colossi better, I think he would have won out. But even after he lost those, you saw just barely the 2-2 finishes. All of Marine King's units are in the red, and he's able to push it back with the Widow Mines helping him out as well. Never give up, never surrender. That's Marine King's motto, often even lifting his buildings at the end of games. But this time, he holds and is victorious.
NS HoSeo coach looking at the game was like, oh, I really hoped he could win against another Terran player and take out Marine King. But now he has to come up with another player to send into the battle. It could be Sanai. We could see Jakji. There are also other players like Tacita and Tibble. Who is it going to be? Are we going to see now a Terran versus Terran? Will we see Sanai, who performed well against Sound, even though he didn't win the game?
Don't forget Sting. It could also come out and do the TBT. I could see that.
Yep.
For me, it's either Sting or Sanai coming out as a second player. And I'm leaning towards Sanai because he's shown really strong Zerg versus Terran in the past.
This is going to be a very interesting choice that the coach has to make now. We have them still in an advantageous position. They are 2-1 against the Prime team, but Marine King is quite the player, and he just showed that he is able to take down Protoss players. Mad Bull, great in his Protoss versus Terran. So who do you send out next?
I'm feeling, you know, send a Zerg, switch everything up entirely, go into a completely different matchup, an unseen matchup, and, you know, hope for the best. You've got to send somebody out here who has some experience, but you don't want to send your heavy hitters out yet. And I feel the two heavy hitters we have left are Jokchi and Tassadar. We see them come out last most often for NS HoSeo. So I'm thinking that we're going to see either Sting or Sanai. You know, one of those players who's kind of mid-range.
Yep. Against Marine King, it would of course be great for NS HoSeo to win the next game. Then would be 3-1 and had 3 opportunities to a clinch victory in this battle. But still, this is definitely a very difficult situation to be in. They are ahead, but they have been all killed twice. That's definitely something that occupies your thoughts. And here we have Jokchi. They are not fooling around. They are going for their best player.
Marine King looks like he just got a bunch of dirt in his mouth or something when he saw that. He's like, what? Really? Jokchi? I didn't expect to have to face you so early. You know, they have sent Jokchi out early in the past sometimes, which can be a little bit, you know, scary. It's kind of, you know, Jokchi is the captain. He is the leader of the team. He's the best player on the team by far. He has the most results. And it really says something when you send him out here early.
It's a very ballsy choice, and they are trying to win this right now. They're trying to take down Marine King so that they are in a position where they only have to win one more game. We are heading into a Terran versus Terran very soon. First of all, we're heading into a 5-minute break before we continue with our GSTL match between NS HoSeo and the Prime team. Marine King is up against Jokchi, so stay tuned and we'll be back in 5.